Hi. So, a lot of times I talk about us being gods, and at the same time, I have a lot of questions. Well, if we're gods, why are we so shy? Why are we so limited? Why is this? Why is that? And all. And I feel like I don't make it clear. But here's the deal: when I'm talking about us being gods, what I mean is we are infinite consciousness. We have no limits, and we can do absolutely everything. You and I, and everyone here, all the abilities we think, or like we look at others like, oh, that person has remote viewing, that person can get out of body, that person can do this. Well, each and every one of us can do that if we work on it. But then comes the thing like, okay, Aquila, if you're calling us all gods, then why are we so limited? Why am I shy? Why do I get angry? Why do I have all that crap happening? If I'm God, like how the hell did I end up in this place? Why the hell am I'm not rich and all this stuff? Like, come on, tell me, right? So it's a pretty common question, and you know, here's the thing. Before coming here and throughout the multiverse as a consciousness, we're simply experiencing life. We're experiencing a lot of possibilities. And then, as a consciousness, which cannot be touched or like it doesn't really have a shape, it's just simply point of awareness, simply point of view. And you look and your awareness like sees that, and then you can perceive things, you can experience things. And so we decide, like, okay, from the creation, from manifesting, from looking and creating and making more, we move into wanting to experience that life. Not just creating a planet with a lot of like people there, but also wanting to go to that place and be with those people and talk to them and see how do people react? Like what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? And so we move on and have lots of different experiences. And back long ago, when things didn't happen that bad, we were simply creating a whole lot. Creating planets, destroying them. Like, you might write it like a nice essay or like a book and something, and like, oh, you didn't like that page or you didn't like that drawing, and you basically tear it apart next. So we say same thing with planets or same thing with our creations. We create a realm, a planet, another place, and sometimes we're like, yeah, I don't like it. You explode it and like redo it. So there's like a lot of like creation, destruction, and the whole thing with duality. It's more of a thing here in the physical, but it shouldn't exist because out there, it's okay. It's okay to be born and to die. It's okay to create and destroy. It's okay to love and to hate and all those things. And so, as we move with our experiences, a lot of times we start putting labels on ourselves. We're not just the infinite consciousness, we're not just limitless, but we start calling ourselves, I'm human, I'm starseed, I'm this old, this is where I live, this is my nationality, this is my race, and all the other things. And the more labels we put the consciousness in a box. We, with our beliefs and thoughts and agreements, we start like limiting ourselves. So okay, like one life, you might have experienced something terrible. Like like, oh yeah, like everything's great, but then like you're like, well, what if I try to understand some people? And what if I turn on pain? And you're like, oh, so that's what pain like. I don't like it. You turn it off. But just like a lot of variations where we start labeling ourselves, where we start going into different like areas, and in the experience, we end up believing it's our agreement that, oh, I can't do anything. It's like each and every one of you is freaking powerful. Whatever you decide to do, you can do it. If you can think of it, you can achieve it. But the thing is, a lot of people will go into the hardships and like fail a few times and give up. For example, a person might be messed with entities and they'll try to do something a few times and it didn't work. And they're like, I can't do anything. I have to find someone else to help me. And they look for someone else and no one's there. And the thing is, no one's coming for you. No one's going to save you. You're all on your own in that way. But just because you're on your own doesn't mean that it's the end. It means it's the beginning for you to be freaking powerful, for you to take the power in your hands and do something about your life. And when we come here on Earth, a lot of us lose the memories. It's not like they're gone and disappeared forever. It's simply we stop being aware of them. We come here and all of a sudden we forget our origins. We forget that we have had billions of lives before this. We forget that we have had friends, different experiences. We have tons of information and knowledge. Who were like what were we doing before? Were we healers? Were we warriors? Were we engineers and creators and all that? We forget it all. And so we come here, starting from this little baby body, and living on. And some people come here and already get a body who's like, let's say, older by simply being a walk-in and all. But now when we get here, a lot of people start believing the way things are. You're God being, yes, but I'm telling you that. But you live your whole life, or most people live, without actually acknowledging that. Simply calling, I'm human, I'm Aquila, I'm Arthur, I'm this. And they tell, like, give themselves names and, like, putting tons of labels of who they are, putting yourself in this limited box. And then when crap happens in your life and you can't do anything about it, you start thinking that, like, you're even more limited. Oh, I'm all alone. I'm lonely. I can't do anything. I'm helpless. No one loves me. I'm like, and like, you just have tons of things happening in your life and you don't see changes, and you start thinking the worst possible stuff about yourself, about life, and now living in this trap box, imprisoning yourself. But it's not like it's all on you. There's like a lot of parties trying to imprison you as well. A lot of parties trying to cause damage and harm. But living in the state where you're freaking powerful deep inside, if you know about it. But most people don't acknowledge that. And okay, for example, like, okay, you watch my videos and you realize, like, hey, all right, I like what the video is saying. I do believe I have powers. I do believe I'm consciousness. I do believe I'm infinite. But that does not change the fact that for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years while you were living here, you've been programmed. You've experienced a whole lot of crap. And just because I told you something, or you've read it somewhere, and all of a sudden you change your belief system, like, hey, I'm limitless. I'm God. I'm powerful. It does not change that experience you've had here on Earth left its own scars on you. You're wounded. Deep inside you're hurt. And all this pain you've experienced in your life, whether you've been yelled at, whether you've been traumatized, whether you've gone through lots of incidents, but eventually we'll live our life here and we learn, hey, I'm hurt. Hey, this happens. Hey, I'm limited. And when something bad happens, we react to it in certain ways. Some people fight back. Some people try to defend themselves. Some people get beaten up so much that they're like, I give up. There's just no, I just can't, you know. And when that happens, we live in this state. And yeah, you found out, like, hey, I'm powerful. I, as a being, you now get the concept that your imagination, your creativity, your visuals, your thoughts can create it all. You're freaking powerful. But that does not change the fact that you've been living your whole life through a bunch of experiences that were negative to you. You've been trapped, you've been abused, you've been suffering, you've been depressed, and all the other things happen to most people. And just because right now you realize I'm powerful, it does not change your belief system that you're fucked. It does not change the belief system that, like, all this crap happened to you. You've already gathered the case. You've already lived enough where in your experience you are hurt. You can't do certain things. You failed. You were looking like this, you're thinking like that, and tons of things happen. So what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, hey, we're godlike beings. We're freaking powerful. You can do absolutely anything. You can manifest things. As a consciousness. Let's say when the physical body drops dead and you're out there, you can do absolutely everything. With your thoughts and consciousness, you can manifest things here. But it does not mean that your life all of a sudden, like, hey, I'm God, boom, and everything's easy and you can do absolutely anything. It would be great if it was that easy. It's not. The thing is, you just sort of like, hey, you just sort of found the, like, tip of the truth of the iceberg. And like, yay, everything's fine. I'm God now. Woo. Well, things don't, like, all of a sudden get good and you're like having an easy life. You don't all of a sudden get like a millionaire and get absolutely anything you want. It would be great. And some of you might do that. But the thing is, now you realize the truth about who you are. You realize, like, hey, I'm powerful. I'm not limited. I'm not fucked. I'm not a victim anymore. I can fight back. I can create my own future. I can do what I want. And that's great. But you've already had a whole lot of years of being messed with, a lot of years of failure and being targeted and all this stuff. And that stays. It's not like you just forget it all. It's not like you start believing in all that. You now realize, hey, I can do a lot, but you already have a whole lot of baggage of that crap that happened. And it's kind of like, like wanting to win a lottery or wanting something like massive to happen. You want it, and now you start believing like, hey, I can win. But that does not change all the other times you've bought tickets and lost. So now you have a massive baggage of experience that might not be so nice, but and you understand like you have possibilities now. You're not actually a victim. You're not actually a messed up kid or like a messed up person. No, you've just been abused. You've been through a lot. But that does not mean that you're fucking weak or anything. No, you're freaking powerful. You can do absolutely anything. And now that you're aware, like, hey, I'm God, which means like unlimited consciousness, infinite. You can do absolutely anything with that, right? Now is the time to look like, hey, I've been suffering. What are some of the things that cause me to be shy, that cause me to feel like a victim, that cause me to feel like I can't do anything? And you can look at some of those things that cause it to happen and see if you can let go of some things, forgive some people, maybe work on yourself. But you now realize that, like, hey, I need to stop putting myself in a box and telling myself who I am and telling myself all negative stuff. Because now a lot of people like throw crap at you, telling how you are, but then you yourself add a whole lot more on top of that. You might like try to talk to people and you end up like having social anxiety because you feel like I'm an alien here. Like, damn, I can't actually relate to anyone, or like there's so many people like I just like they're not gonna understand me. I feel like an alien around them, and so like when you try to interact with them, the conversation goes like kind of weird, like in the like weird like what, and you're feeling bad inside, and you're like I don't know, I'm bad at talking to people. But now you yourself, with your own thoughts, start putting yourself in this cage, imprisoning yourself and making yourself feel bad about it. So just because you realize like, hey, I'm powerful, I can do it all, does not mean that all of a sudden you let go of all of your beliefs about yourself from the past. You still have that. It's just that I'm trying to make you realize that each and every one of you is freaking powerful. Yes, you are unlimited. Yes, you're infinite. Yes, you can achieve anything you want. But it does not change the fact that everything you've experienced in this life and things from the past will be like a baggage. And there's a lot of wounds and scars that those experiences have left on your body and in your consciousness and your soul and who you are. And seeing all those wounds, it's your decision. Do you want to keep on going forward? And it does not mean living here on earth and just like fighting and being a soldier. No. What I mean is like you realize like, yeah, I've been hurt. I've been suffering, but I'm not going to give up. And I'm going to go and do what I want because you have the free will. You're freaking powerful and you can do absolutely anything you want. Whether you choose that here in this life, whether you choose to fix yourself, to become a new, to sort of like find new personalities and just become better, work on your own skills and stuff. And just, if you have dreams, while you're here, life might not be perfect at all, but it's up to you to make it better for yourself. Like, no one's going to come and save you. That's the bad stuff. I have people like I played a video game like once in a whole like week or two for an hour or two. I uploaded it on YouTube and like people are like, oh, here's a Kvilla playing games while people need help. And I'm like, whoa, see, it feels like some people don't even want to allow me to have some free time. But at the same time, I understand that like they're coming from the place where they're suffering inside and they need help. And they see me as a person who might be there helping, who might be there answering questions or doing something about things. But here's the thing. I'm not a savior. I'm not gonna save all of you. I'm not gonna clear all of you and make your life wonderful. It's up to you. Like I can give you tools and you take the tool and use it to make your life better. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like with the whole thing of me like just trying to, it's not motivation, it's just like sort of sharing like, hey, you have to realize that you're not limited. You have to realize that you are no longer a prison or a victim. You're a freaking God who's been hurt, who has experienced a whole lot of crap and a whole lot of bad experiences and all this stuff. But you can go through this. You can beat all that and you can achieve what you want if you have anything you want to achieve here or elsewhere. So like I just like want to let you all know how powerful you are. But that does not change the fact that before you sort of like start changing your mindset about how things are throughout all those years of being here and even before, if you've been messed with, you have a lot of wounds and all, you're hurting inside a lot, all of you. And so now you realize like, hey, I'm God, but now you have to work on fixing yourself. So like, I don't know if I'm making sense. It's just that just because we realize who we are, it does not change the fact that everything else has happened before. Like we still carry the baggage of experience. We still sort of see it as a thing, and now it's up to you to sort of like start changing that. It's just because you realize that you're God, it doesn't mean that it's gonna disappear. Like all the problems will disappear right away. It's like no, you're a God who conditioned yourself to think like you're limited, you're a victim, you're this, you're that, and every single day people tell you stuff, you tell yourself stuff, but it's just like thoughts after thoughts, words after words, putting yourself in a box of like, I'm this, I am that, I'm bad, I'm guilty, I'm wrong, I'm like da 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 da, tons of bad things about yourself, and now you live your whole life in this cage, in prison, a victim, constantly bashing yourself and allowing people to come at you because life has been bad for you. And now all of a sudden, you're just living in this like, I'm fucked up. And you're not. You're simply a victim. You're simply hurt. I mean, like, victim in a way where you're freaking powerful, but that does not mean you not feel pain. You do. And it's okay. You can get through this. So, like, I don't know, like, I just wanted to make it sort of clear because a lot of times, like, in my live streams and like other places where I'm answering questions or talking to people, I want to bring that sort of like awareness, like, hey, you can do absolutely anything. Your thoughts, your visuals, your creativity, it's freaking powerful. And like maybe sometimes I don't make it clear that all the bad stuff doesn't disappear just because you change your beliefs about a few things. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. And hey, if you feel free to add some more, like if you're a godlike being, why are you so limited? And I'll answer those things for yourself. But here's my thoughts. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.